Contractors. In tonight's video, we're going to be making a beautiful tunnel card using the Autumn Expressions Cling Stamp Set and dies and the Nested Essential dies. For the background paper, we're going to be using the Autumn Designer Series paper. Hi, I'm Joan and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Paper Crafts, found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. And if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started. Our first promotion is the Starter Kit Special. Join Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator between October 1st to the 31st. Get $150 in products of your choice for only $99. That's a $30 added value. Our next promotion, you can save up to 30% on our favorite kits. Between October 1st and October 31st, you can select one or more of our kits and save up to 30% on each kit. And we happen to have 2 new kits that came out the 1st of October. Next, I'd like you to check out our new scrapbook products from the September 2024 scrapbooking brochure. And don't forget the clearance rack was just loaded, and you'll want to make your selections right away because they don't last long. Here's our card we're making tonight. Well, not exactly. We're going to change it to black and copper clay for the cardstock, and then for the Designer Series paper, we're still going to use the Splendid Autumn, but we're going to use this one, that sunset that looks so great. We're using Autumn Expressions Cling Stamp Set, and we're going to use Change Can Be Beautiful, and May the Beauty of the Season Fill Your Heart with Joy. And then we're also using the Autumn Expression dies, and we're going to be using this one here. You know, when you first glance, it looks like it's the same on both sides, but it's not. This side, the ridges are smaller, and this one's larger. We're going to use the smaller ridges. And I've already got it marked at half here to help us do our lining up. And then we're also going to use our Nested Essential dies. We're just going to use this big one because I can't use this one on our center fold because these hinges will show up on there, and I don't want those to be there. Actually, it'd be these hinges, but still don't want them on that card. We can go ahead and get started. We have our piece of copper clay cardstock, and it's cut at 5.5 inches and 8.5 inches, or 14 centimeters by 21.6 centimeters, and I have it scored at 4.25 inches. Or 10.8 centimeters. And I'm going to fold and burnish that on both sides. That'll give us a nice crisp edge. Then we're going to take our piece of basic black, cut at 3.75 inches by 5 inches, or 9.5 centimeters by 12.7 centimeters, and we're going to glue that down here. But before I glue that down, I'm going to want to put our Designer Series paper on there, and I'm going to bring it over here. I've already got it cut, and I'm going to show you how I cut it. I've got 3 sheets of the 6 by 6 inch Designer Series paper. This one is cut at 3 inches and 5/8, and this one is 4 7/8 inches. Or 9.2 centimeters by 12.4 centimeters. That's the one we want for the center of our card. This is a throwaway. And then we took 2 inches on the left here. And so this is a throwaway, and this is a throwaway. And this is going to be for the inside of our card. And then our next piece is this right here. I cut one at... Let me give you this dimension first. Let me back up a second. This is cut at 2 inches by 5.25 inches, and that's going to be 5.1 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. And that's going to be on the left side of the inside of the card. And this next sheet, I've got just one piece that I want to hang on to. So it's this one here. So these are wastes. Not really, I'm going to hang on to them for another card. But this would be cut at 1.78 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And that would be 4.8 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. And that's for the right side of the card. And then this next sheet is where we're going to do our centerpiece. So we'll come back to that. We're going to go ahead and glue this down. And we're going to use our multi-purpose glue. That's in the catalog. I have it in this My Sweet Petunia. This isn't a Stampin' Up! Product. It is a lot easier to squeeze out the glue, particularly in the tiny section. So when I get on to using this piece here, it's really going to show how we can use that. But I'm using it all the time because I have arthritis and I can't manipulate it without much pain. So we're going to use this piece and we're going to glue it down. I'm going to bring this stand back in here to make sure I can get it on there right. It wants to rock forward and it's not squeezing off the tip right. And that's why I'm having problems. We're going to glue this onto our black cardstock. And I already gave you those dimensions. I'm going to do it this way. That just enables me to see both sides, the top and the bottom, and then the right and the left sides, all at the same time. Or if I could turn it the portrait, I can't usually typically see the top part, and so I'm just guessing where I'm at. Okay, that's good. And I realized I'm on my cushion here, and I really want to be on the silicone mat. So let me see if I can't find that silicone mat here. There we go. And we're just going to put glue on this as well. And we're going to put that on here. We're going to make sure we got the right side. Okay, it's opening that way, so we can put it this way. And I just want to get 1/4 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just press to get all those glue bubbles out, making sure I have paper contacting paper there. Then we're going to take our black mat. So we got a piece of this, and I already cut the black ones out, so we won't have to go through that. And I'm going to go ahead and line that up there with this. Make sure we got the right one. And I'm going to use our large cut and emboss machine for this. Move this out of the way. And we're going to use this formula right here. Is the number 1 plate, the number 2 plate, and then 2 number 3s. So there's that, and here's the number 1 plate, and it's just repeating it on there for us. So now we need 2 number 3s. Here's our number 3, but you can't see it because it's a well-loved. And then I've got this here, and I'm gonna just line it up like this, center it there, and I am gonna tape it down. I'm using Post-it labeling cover-up tape, and it sticks very well, but you can remove it and it doesn't leave an adhesive behind. So you can reuse it over and over. And then we're just going to crank this out, but we got to open this up here, don't we? And this is going to be in the way. I'm going to move my thing one more time. Now, you could have used this mini cut and emboss machine, but you'd have to really line it up well to make sure you got it on there right. And since I have another piece where I have to have it on the big cut and emboss machine, I decided I would just use it for everything. So I'm just going to take this tape off so I can pop this one out. And we want this for our sentiment right now. And then this popped out, so I'm just going to put that back here with our trash. And then I'm going to take this, our Take Your Pick tool. But I do have room right here. I can pull this up this way. Now, we said we wouldn't need those hinges that are on the edges here, so I'm going to just snip them off. So I'm going to take this, and I'm doing like fussy cutting, so I just want to make a straight line from here to the edge. And if you really can't do it by your hand, you could probably try and do it using the trimmer. There, that looks great. Pull these out of here. So now we're going to want to put this aside for later. But this one we want to stamp and then adhere this to it. So we're going to go ahead and get our image stamped on there. And now we're going to bring in that large mat. And we're going to use this and the copper clay for the ink. So this is our sentiment. Change can be beautiful. And I'm just going to put it up here for right now. And you want to center that. And I'm going to get my head in there for a second. I think that's about right. And you know what I was looking at? I was looking at this arc matching that arc. So I know it was centered right to left. I'm going to close this up. We do have another stamp we have to do, but we'll do that when we're finishing up on the card. So I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to stamp it on here. That gets all that excess ink off from there. Okay. And then we're going to open up our Stampin' Scrub. And I'm going to spray it because this is the first time I'm working on it here today. It's a little bit damp, but I want a little more in there. And that was not the right one, but we'll leave it at that. And this one's drier than the other one, so I'll tell you how I knew I had the wrong one. There's a little raindrop right up there. That means this is the wet side, and that means this is the dry side because there's a sunshine in there. I sprayed this side instead, so we're going to have to do it this way. And I'm going to just put it over here, and the rest I'll do off camera. So let's see. We'll bring that off camera too. We can do this without the mat, because we need this one instead, our rubber mat. And then we want to glue this down in here. And it just basically fits in there. So what we'll do is we'll put our tiny dimensionals on there and hold everything in place. So I got to get it on there first before we can get the dimensionals there. There, I've got it all lined up now. Pops right in there once you get your fingers out of the way. And then I'm just going to take these black dimensionals that we have in the catalog. I've got the minis, and I'm going to just pop them on here all the way around. So it's holding the paper to the outer border. And that was a curve there. That's why I had two there. Then I'm going back up in this corner. And we'll do this corner. And there's a curve here, so I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to do it on the upper curve up here too. And then we're going to do one right up on this side on the right. Same thing on the left. Curve here. Bigger curve here. Smaller curve here. Right in the corner. And then in the center, we'll go around those curves there. You can either use a big dot or a small dot, big dimensional or small dimensional. And I'm going to use these smaller dimensionals. I got one more I want to put on here, right there. I forgot that corner piece. And that's probably more important to have it there because I don't want them popping off. So we're just going to set that aside for right now so we can assemble the inside of the card. I'm going to show you the measurements. I already have it cut at 5 3/8, but I will show you. Because typically a card is 5.5 inches. So you just want to bring it 1/8 of an inch in, or that would be 0.3 centimeters. Final cut is 13.7 centimeters. Then it's at 8 3/8, and this trimmer has a long arm on there, so we can get those measurements as far as 17.25 inches, or that would be almost 44 centimeters. We need to cut this at 8 3/8. And again, that's at 8.5, and then take off 1/8, and I've already cut that. So we don't have to do that right now, but I am going to have to do the scoring. Let me go back. 5 3/8 by 8 3/8, or 13.7 centimeters by 21.3 centimeters. Then we're going to score it at 2 1/8 inches. I want to make sure I got that up there straight. And then we're just scoring up and down. Then we want to score it at 4 1/4 inches, or 10.8 centimeters. And then there's one more score line we need to do, and that would be at 6 5/16. So you could do that, but it's finding it difficult over here because it's in the where it changes. So what I said I would do is I would just flip it around, and I would go 2 1/16 like that, and then that would be 5.2 centimeters. The other one was the 6 5/16. That's going to be 16 centimeters. Yeah, it's somewhere right about there. Like I said, I could see better the 2 1/16. Other thing you could do is you could fold the card that hasn't been scored, and fold it to meet this score line. But I have difficulty doing that when there isn't anything scored there. So that's why I'm going to just do the 2 1/16. You're probably wondering why we're doing that. That's so we can fold it and it fits inside our card correctly. And your eyes will be tricked to seeing both sides equal, because it wasn't that big of a change. So now we need to fold and burnish them. So we want that center fold to be a mountain. So we're going to burnish that. And then we want these side pieces to be valleys. And we're going to burnish those. And then we're going to, let's burnish it on this side of those valleys. So we got that. And then we need to cut this piece out of here for our tunnel card. Since we don't want to use this to cut out that, because there's no way I can use this and cut it out and not have these tabs here. So I'm going to use this Nested Essential rectangle, and I've got that marked at halfway. And we'll use our large cutting machine again, because we've got the big fold there that I'm going to have to navigate here. We want to have it using that same formula, the 1 plate, the 2 plate, the 3, and that other 3. And we're going to fold it here. And that's going to be the center of the card. And we want to get that lined up right there. And we want to kind of center it top to bottom as well. It's a little bit off, that's not a problem. So I'm going to tape this down here. And I think I've got another piece here that's been used that I can tape the bottom portion. Then we can put our plate back on there. And I'm going to just pull it out a little bit more. So I'm going to have it start off up there, because then it grabs it a lot easier. And we are done with this, I'm pretty sure. I'll just pull this off, and that's going to come out. And we don't need this, but we'll probably find it for some use on another project. So now we have that. And let's bring in our card base again. Here, I'm going to take this out for now. We want to line this up here so we can trace out that inside portion. Nope, we're going to glue this on first. Forgot about that. We want to get this glued on here, and then we'll trace that out onto the back. So let's go ahead, we'll bring that mat back in. I'm going to glue this down, and there's really not a lot of room here. There's room at the top and just a very bit on the sides. But when I'm done, I am going to go back and reinforce it with our tear and tape. We're going to take this, and I'm going to get it started again. We want to glue it up here, regular and regular down here. But then the rest of it is just on the edges. And outside edge, not the inside edge, Joan. So we want to just basically touch that down. See how nice that's going with this glue gun? There's no way I could have done that with this squeeze bottle. Now, if I waited long enough, this is going to set up, but I do not want that on there because I want to use the mat and I don't want gluing to the back of this, so I wiped it out. So we want to make sure it touches on the bottom here in the corners, there, and the top. So it's barely touching, and I'm going to wipe out where there's glue leading out in the sides there. And this is barely touching here too. Okay. So you can see holes up there, there, down there. I really don't want that right here, but you can see if we can touch that up. And then you can get that with the tape. We can do the same thing over here. So now we're going to go on this side, and we'll make sure we get those other areas. This one down here. So we're going to take our tear and tape, and I'm not going to tear it. I am going to trim it because I can't tear it off very accurately with my rheumatoid arthritis. Oop. So now I'm just going to burnish this with my fingernail. I'm going to make sure that's sticking there. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the rest of that. So again, I'm just burnishing with my fingernails. I'm going to just do this with here. So now you see there's some black spots on there. I'm just going to trim those off. So there's just a little bit right here. It's going to come out. And I'm going underneath from the underside, so I'm not cutting the copper clay paper. I'm only cutting black paper. So I'm angling my scissors, undercut that a little bit. Very little bit. And that's as much as I had cut off. So now I need to figure out which is my long side and which is my short side. So I'm going to get my ruler here. That's the 2 and the 1/8 and 2 and 1/16. Looks like it goes this way. Okay. So what we want to do here next, we'll get this mat out of the way. This is where we're going to do some heavy duty design technique. So I've got it all set up. There's no glue on there. And I'm just going to outline these here. And this here. And this down here. Because that will allow me to paste the inside one in place properly. And then we can glue this down on this side. I'm going to use my CO Plus because I want to have something that has a little more strength to it. And I do know the CO Plus is a little more sensitive to the black. So I'm going to go very slow when I'm pulling this across. Because I don't want to pull the paper across. I only want tape to run smoothly. That worked pretty good. That worked pretty good. See, in the center I went too quick and it teared the paper up, but I can put that back down. No worries there. Okay, so I'm going to line it up on this left side first and work my way to the right side, matching the center. And then I can line up those trace marks that I did. Those help quite a bit. Okay, and then we should line this up on the right. And that seemed to work just fine. Then we need to do the inside. So let me get my other paper out. We had this one full sheet here that we didn't do anything with. And we're going to go ahead and align it up with this. And I'm going to take this side here that has the thin ribbing. And then I'm going to just decide where I want it on here. We've got this whole piece of paper we can work with. Could do something like that, have it on the side. I'm actually liking it more right here. Now I just need to decide if I want it up farther. Maybe just with just a little bit of the orange at the very top. I think that's going to work like there. I'm going to tape that down. I'm looking for my tape. Okay, then we're going to bring in that big cut and emboss machine. Stampin' Up! Just announced their incentive trip, and it's a trip to Alaska. I'd love to be on that ship when it sails. If you'd like to help me out, place an order, or simply like this video and share it with your friends, and maybe they'll place an order. Thanks for your help. And if you'd like to go to Alaska, you can join and earn your own incentive trip, and we can go together. So we have the 1, the 2, the really cut up 3, and we'll pull this down. We'll bring that back in here, and then we're going to pull it back so I can get this out farther, and then we can crank it out. So I'm just going to take your pick tool and just see if I can't get the center one out. That's the one we want to hang on to. These we can put back here. So we should have another black here. Now we didn't show you how we cut out the black, but again, it's the same thing as we did with the copper clay, and you get the centerpiece. I hang on to these because this will make a really nice sentiment tag. The piece I had for the copper clay and the black, it was 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches, or 7.6 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. That should give you plenty to get these cut out without worrying about the tags. If you want the tags on there, you'll have to add some more space to get the tags. This is going to go in the inside of the card. I'm just going to put this down here for right now. See if I can get a block there to sit with it. So we're going to glue this down first. And that should line up in those positions. And then we'll glue this down next. We don't need to use the tape on there. We can just glue it solid down onto the card. So I'm going to do this first. Just going to give me a little more room here so you can see. We'll use our glue gun again. And then we'll bring that back down here. We want to line that up there in the sides and at the top. I need to bring it down a little bit. Okay. Are you tired of me saying okay? I don't know why I do that. And we need to get that down and make sure we got it down right, because I used that Tear and Tape Plus, and I won't have another opportunity to get it any closer. Best thing I can do is push these sides in a little bit. perfect, I'm thinking. Yeah, I like that. Then we can glue this down. I'm going to go slow because I do not want it to tear the paper. And I got some edges here. I'll just flip on back inside. Get this back up here where you can see what I'm doing. All right. Now we just need to fold it over, and there's a couple ways you can do this. You can fold it over this way and then close it up. But then if you get it lopsided, you won't be able to correct it. So, oh darn. Well, I am not going to mess with it. That worked just fine. Then we need to fold this and burnish. We should have burnished the inside before we got this far. I'm going to go on this side in case it marks on the paper. What we burnished inside the inside, I'm burnishing that right now. And now I'm going to burnish this little piece here for that opening, that extra piece that was glued on there. Oh, and you forgot to glue on your side panels. Well, we can do that. I think this is the right hand side, and I need to find my left hand side. It just got under here. Probably toward the end of the roll. It's not closing up right. Okay, I want to make sure I've got this on here the right way. It looks right. So we're going to fold this way and just line it up, leaving about 1/16 of an inch for a border all the way around, or 1 centimeter, 0.1 centimeter. Sorry about that. That does not look like a centimeter. It's got to be 0.1 centimeter. Okay, and then we can do this one too. Let's see if I can't get that rolled inside there. Oh, it's the end of the roll. And I am not going to try and find another one, but I do have seal here. And that looks like it's toward the end too. But I only need to go 2 stripes there, right? Nothing about running out of glue during your project. Okay, and then we're going to go this way and center it again on that panel, leaving 0.1 centimeters or 1/16 of an inch for a border. Well, I didn't want to lay it down because using the Seal and Seal Plus, it sticks pretty hard and it'll tear the paper when you try to lift it up. You can heat it up, probably get it out, but I didn't want to have to try and do that either. Okay, what we need to do next is our sentiment on the front of the card. So we have this large sentiment here, change can be beautiful, but we want to add that second sentiment that says, may the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. And we're going to use these scrap papers here. And I'm going to stamp this one here. I'm going to stamp it on here first because the sentiment looks like it's going to be crooked, but it probably won't be. That looks like it's going to be straight. So let's go ahead and stamp it. I'm going to stamp it at the bottom because that's what I was eyeing, the bottom portion. And I'm going to get it as low as I can. Good thing we have 2 sides. We're going to do this side. I'm going to get it not quite so low. And then I'm just going to stamp off and scrub that again. And we can close this up too. Now I'm going to bring our trimmer out because we want to trim this down before we do anything with the other card. We're going to put it right about there. So it was a 1-inch piece, so I've got it on the 1/2 inch mark. Here's our trimmer blade. And then we're going to just slant it here. That works. Then we're going to take this, and I want to glue it on here. We're going to glue it right away, and then we'll trim it off the edge. Bring this back down here a little bit. So I'm going to glue it on the top portion. And we want to get it to the top and to the edge. And that works. We'll bring our trimmer back in. We'll trim that little portion off. So we'll do it at the 1/2 inch and a little bit more. So we got the 1/2 inch right about there. I'm going to just use my scissors now because there's no way I'm going to be able to see that little spot inside there. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim it about the same amount. There we go. So we're going to take our dimensionals again. So I'm going to take these small ones and we're just going to line them up on here. So where's the top? There's the top. So I'm going to line them along the bottom. We get 2 of them for a penny, so I use a lot of dimensionals. The last thing I want is my card to show up on somebody's doorstep and have it be all wonky because it didn't go through the rollers at the post office the right way. So this is the bottom sentiment, and that's the top sentiment. So I'm just going to set that up there for right now. And let's take all these dimensionals off too. You want to be careful with these because it's holding the 2 pieces of paper together. Could have used tear and tape to cover that seam, but I wanted to raise it up anyways, and I know that this should hold it in place as long as you've got them overlapping on each side of the seam there. Okay, so now we're going to take this, and let's get it lined up in the center of this. We're going over the top half. We're going to cover up that beautiful sunset because they're going to see that on the inside of the card. And I'm not going to press this down very hard because I want to be able to work in this piece down here. And basically, it's just going to be laying there. It's not going to be tucked under or anything, but I want it to get it lined up right up to the edge of that cardstock. So, change can be beautiful. May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. And then you see this beautiful sunset on the inside of the card. I think we are done. I hope you liked this project as much as I did. As you can see, you could use just about any sentiment stamp set for this tunnel card. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. And if you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back in 2 weeks on Sunday, October 27th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be doing something from the new mini catalog. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.